Hi, this is Khalid Beg and welcome to yet another episode of India This Week.
नमस्ते, मैं हूं आमना अंसारी, आपकी होस्ट, और स्वागत है आपका इंडिया दिस वीक के नए एपिसोड में।
Right, so it gives us a great pleasure. In all our 45 episodes till now, we've usually had Indian panelists. So please welcome a panelist from our neighboring country, Mr. Hasan Mahmud, who's a very, very eminent writer, scholar, par excellence. He's a Bangladeshi Canadian. He's a cultural and human rights activist. Since decades, he's been trying to educate Muslims about Sharia law. That's our topic as well today, understanding the politics of Sharia. And he is such an eminent personality. We're really honored to have him. He's authored so many books. One of his top selling books in the world goes by the name of How Shariaism Hijacked Islam. So we'll be giving you the link of that book there as well. Also, to educate common Muslims in his home country, Bangladesh, he's authored 4 stage dramas, 4 docu-movies on Sharia law, 3 in Bangla, 1 in English. It's called The Sharia Conundrum. Absolute honor to have you, Hasan Mahmud, to join us today.
Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome, sir.
Shastrikal, good evening, namaste, good morning, whatever suits whoever. I'm so much honored to be here today that आपने मुझे काबिल समझा आपका चैनल में बात करने को. I'll try my best to give you some references where things went wrong and our alims should fix it. One thing should be very clear. Every religious community needs their religious leaders. We also need our ulamas. But condition ye hai कि they have to bring social good in life from Islamic sources. We expect better leadership.
So Hasan Mahmud, I'll start off initially with the first question. Back in Bangladesh, while growing up and that being your home country, and now you're a Canadian Bangladeshi, what was the motivation to dwell deep into Sharia and into Islamic literature? And what prompted you to ask for reforms within the community, which is global because 57 countries across the world have Muslim population, many have Islam as the state religion. And you've argued with a lot of facts, theological references that how Sharia is very different from what Islam is, what actually Quranic scriptures are. So if you could tell us about your journey back home in Bangladesh, what prompted you as a youngster to dwell deep into it, give your scholarship in life to this topic?
Thank you. Actually, I am a very average person. I am just an average Bangladeshi, and I was born in a village, deep village. I grew up in swimming in ponds, jumping in jungles. But basically, when I grew up, I was in the school, university, college. I was one of the human rights activist boys led by our seniors. Then I moved to Middle East. I saw a country run by Sharia or Muslim societies. Then I migrated to Canada. It is actually, say, this is the Quran. I realized that the impact of religion on human life is not what is written in the book. It is how religious leaders understands these sentences and applies to society. So the application proves the correctness of their understanding, human understanding. That is called fiqh. Then I realized that it's law that makes and breaks life. If we apply common sense, that's brought me to the research of Sharia decades ago. If we apply common sense, we know that wife beating is not good. Husband's right to marry at will up to 4 wives, that's not good. Triple talaq is not good. So then I started my journey with Sharia law. Now, this Hanafi law book has more than 6,000 laws. Shafi law book has more than 6,000 laws. See, most of laws, these laws are good. Some laws we left it behind, Muslims. Laws on slaves, laws on jizya tax. Now, some laws have to be updated. Scholars like Dr. Hashim Kamali. Without this book, no Islamic library is complete. The Principles of Islamic Jurisprudence, in its preface in page 500, 504, time and again he said that don't even try to apply these laws before you update it. This is what we should be doing. We should have cancelled halala long ago. Now it's a pity that a parliament where most of the MPs, lawmakers are non-Muslims, they banned halala and they did such a good thing to us thanks to Indian government. there are other places, other issues to criticize Indian government, but this one I salute. This is what brought me in the world of Sharia. And then I saw, say, polygamy. Can I explain polygamy with references now? Okay, to begin with, its human legacy. History teaches us that men, to control women, historically utilized few elements very successfully, very cunningly, and very brutally, just to control women. They used tradition, culture, literature, food, dress, state, and religion. In Hindu society, sati is an example. In Christian church states, inquisition is an example. And we Muslims are no different. We Muslims are no different. We always claim that Islam gave women the highest honor, marriage at will. Why it's wrong? Our guideline will be Surah Baqarah, verse 185, and Surah Hajj 78. The Quran says that Allah wants our life to be easy, and Allah doesn't want religion to be difficult on us. That means whatever fatwa or whatever Sharia law makes the life of innocent people difficult is anti-Islamic. Sarasar. Well, the permission of polygamy, चार बीवियां चार शादी, ये कुरान में सिर्फ एक आयत में है, only one. That is Surah Nisa, ayat 3. It says, if you fear that you will not deal justly with the orphan girls, then marry that pleases you of women 2, 3 or 4. जैसे कि अगर तुम्हें ऐसा लगे कि यातीम का शर्त प्रोटेक्टेड नहीं रहता है, तो तुम शादी कर सकते हो. ये जस्ट लाइक कि मेरा बचपन में मेरा अम्मा ने मुझे कहा था, तुम बाहर जा रहे हो, ठीक है, दुकान अगर खुला हो तो रोटी लेके आना, अगर दुकान खुला हो तो रोटी लेके आना. ये इंसेपरेबली कनेक्टेड. दुकान अगर खुला ना हो तो रोटी लाने का सवाल पैदा नहीं होता. कुरान का जो पॉलीगमी का वर्स है, अगर यतीम का सत्ता इन्वॉल्व ना हो तो दूसरा, तीसरा, चौथा शादी का सवाल ही नहीं पैदा होता. इसीलिए जब हजरत अली ने शादी करने गए थे रज़ी अल्लाहु अन्हु, जो नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम का कजिन भी थे, दामाद भी थे, तो बीबी फातिमा, नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की जो बेटी बीबी फातिमा रज़ी अल्लाहु अन्हा ने प्रोटेस्ट किया था, एंड रसूल सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम हजरत अली रज़ी अल्लाहु अन्हु को शादी करने नहीं दिया. एक दफा नहीं, 2 दफा, ट्वाइस. ये आपको मिलेगा सही बुखारी वॉल्यूम 4 हदीस 342, वॉल्यूम 5 हदीस 76, वॉल्यूम 7 157. Everywhere you will see what Prophet said. He said that I will not turn a halal into haram and a haram into halal. That means marriage at will without yatims is, according to his statement, is a haram act, which we have been doing. What was the context? This verse was revealed जब जंग उहुद में बहुत सारे सहाबी they were killed, तो बहुत सारे यतमा हो गया था. Then this verse was revealed, and its context and purpose I'm telling you from Sahih Bukhari volume 6 hadith 97. None but Bibi Aisha radiallahu anha, he says there was an orphan girl under the care of a man. He married her and she owned a date palm orchard, यानी खजूर का बागान उस लड़की की संपत्ति थी. So he married her just because of that, not because he loved her. So this divine verse came regarding his case. If you fear that he shall not be able to deal justly with orphan girls, then marry 2, 3, 4. ये आपको मिलेगा also in Hadith 98, volume 6, volume 3, 647, 74, volume 5, Hadith 25, volume 7, 29, 35, 59, and 62. So such clear instructions. But we are violating the Quran, we are violating the Prophet, and we are violating the purpose and context of this verse. Also, the Quran says in verse 127, कि लोग तुम्हें पूछते हैं about marriage, tell them that it's already told to them. That is in verse 3. This verse dictum is about yatama, yatim girls. And then verse 129 says, even if you try, you will not be able to do justice among more than one wife. So we should actually start from here. Even if I do not marry at will, my right to do so is a violence, is a terrorism against my first wife. Over to you.
राइट। हसन जी, मेरा जो सवाल है आपसे वो है आपके बुक के ऊपर, जो आपके बुक का नाम ही है कि हाउ शरियाइज्म हाईजैक्ड द इस्लाम। एक कॉमन परसेप्शन है इवन जो एक एवरेज मुस्लिम माइंड है उसमें भी, कि शरिया ही एक तरह से इस्लाम है और वो गॉड्स का, अल्लाह का वर्ड है। तो इसको आप हमें थोड़ा समझाइए, और साथ में आपने ये भी मेंशन किया है कि किस तरह से जिन्होंने इस शरिया लॉ को एक रूप दिया था उन्होंने ही मना किया था कि इसे स्टेट का लॉ कभी बनने नहीं देना चाहिए। तो उस पर भी थोड़ी रोशनी डालिए।
देखिए, ये क्वेश्चन ऐसा है कि लोडेड क्वेश्चन है। दिस बुक is all about that, but still it's not fully answered. The world, ये जो स्टेट लॉ है, लोग समझते हैं कि शरिया इज ए स्टेट लॉ। स्टेट लॉ का अरबी है कानून। कानून वर्ड पूरा कुरान में है ही नहीं। The word Sharia is in Surah Jashia 18, Surah Ashura 13, and Surah Maida 48. Only 3 places. And the meaning of Sharia is, it's a path on the sand made by camel and animals going to water. अब देखें, desert में going to water is going to life. That is salvation. That is nirvana. In Islamic term, it is najat. So Sharia is a code of conduct, a moral guidance. We turned it to political state law. That was a betrayal to the Quran done by us. Now, एक तो हमें याद रखना चाहिए, the Prophet had lots of worries about us, his ummah, but what was his worst worry? That is in Sahih Ibn Majah, volume 5, hadith number 3952. He said, my worst worry about my ummah is regarding misleading alims. So, जो सच्चा आलिम है, उन लोगों को ऑन गार्ड होना चाहिए कि ये मिसलीडिंग आलिम के बारे में हमें they should inform us, they should keep on guard to save Muslim Ummah from misleading alims. So yes, Sharia is not a state law. Sharia is a way of najat, way of salvation. And Shariaism is a system of running a country. It can be capitalism, it can be communism, fascism, it can be even monarchy. A state can be run in many ways. But to run it by Sharia law, it's political movement in the name of Islam. That's why I named my book Shariaism. Over to you.
Right. Hasanji, wanted to understand from you that a lot of religious clergy, the Maulvis in a lot of countries, say that it's the divine law. But we see that even within that, like the Sharia, and say, for example, in Indonesia, in a Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, in other Arab countries, they all differ. You know, they have their own particular interpretations. So how does first of all a Muslim view this, and then a non-Muslim view this, that there are so many different versions of Sharia floating around in all these countries? So if you could just give us a few examples of how that works, you know, how there's like a customized version of it with each country.
Well, they are struggling hard to balance between the classic Sharia laws and the secular modern law, but they can't. In my book, there is a chapter of examples of Sharia law. Okay, let me tell you a few examples. The qatl means planned murder. The punishment of planned murder is death. Okay, but in Islamic State, in 4 cases, the murderer will not be punished to death. Planned murderer. Who? Number 1, the head of Islamic State. He cannot be punished for hudud crimes, means murder, injury, theft, robbery, drinking, adultery. These are hudud crimes. He cannot be punished to death. Number 2, a Muslim murderer cannot be punished by death if he kills a non-Muslim. Now, obviously, this is an unjust law, right? But if our alims try to correct it, they can't. Because this law is sitting in the Madina Sanad, the Madina Charter, law number 14 and law number 21. You will find that the punishment of murder is death, but if a Muslim murders a non-Muslim, he cannot be punished to death. This is an unjust proposition. It is sitting in Madina Sanad, the Charter of Madina, And it is said, claimed that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam proposed it. No, no sane mind, insane person can claim such unjust proposition. And it is established as the word of our Prophet. Very sad. Now there is another case where you cannot punish the killer. If parents kill their sons or daughters, if grandparents kill their sons and daughters, it's all, you just stop me and ask, I can tell you the law numbers from these books. Well, it is an unjust law, but if alims try to correct it, they can't. Because in Sahih Tirmizi, hadith number 1405, 1406 says that Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu is reported to have said that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that parents cannot be put to punished by death if they kill their offspring. These are my words, but this is the hadith. Can you imagine? Can our Prophet really say that? Impossible. So these are the hurdles of creating correcting unjust Sharia laws. There are, say, women's witness is not accepted in hudud cases. Can you imagine such a law sitting in our Hanafi and Shafi law books in this state, that women's witness is not accepted in case hudud cases, mean murder, defamation, injury, robbery, adultery, fornication, drinking. So these laws are sitting in the book, which is a challenge to our ulama. I will request you to read at least this chapter, the examples of Sharia. Over to you.
Right. आपने डी-रेडिकलाइजेशन का भी काम किया है बांग्लादेश के काफी विलेजेस में, तो हम ये जानना चाह रहे थे और काफी क्यूरियोसिटी थी कि आपने किस तरह से ये काम किया था और इसके रिजल्ट क्या आए थे.
Well, actually, I elaborated it in my event with Dr. Fayaz Faizi, and I thank him. Well, yes, I felt that my people, my common people, unpar, gaon mein dehati people, farmers, fishermen, dukandar, rickshaw puller, how can I educate them? So Mr. Jamshed was there, our leader, aged person. We gave a small DVD player to an activist in a village, and I gave the DVD of my Sharia movies. She used to call people group by group every week, once or twice, 15, 20 people. In the movies, the movies are actually romantic story, handsome hero, beautiful heroine. But in that, I showed the real books where characters read out Sharia laws from the books. One is on halala, why triple talaq, the law of triple talaq is anti-Islamic. So the people used to, they enjoyed the movie. At the same time, they got educated that unjust laws are indeed written in our Sharia books, and our ulamas should work on it. We used to keep that DVD player in one village for 1 month, then in another village for 1 month, then in another village for 1 month. So if you make a show twice a week of 20 people, then in 1 month, the whole village gets educated. And Jamshed did it profoundly. And then 2 years ago, suddenly he died, he passed away. From 2011 to 2018, we educated about 15 villages, and our activists literally stopped 6 halala marriages. And these halala marriages is nothing but legitimizing, rape in the name of Islam. So our activists saved at least 6 sisters from being raped in the process of halala in the name of Islam. Over to you.
Wanted to understand, we've had, some of the greatest Islamic scholars. So if you speak about India, late Padma Vibhushan, Maulana Wahiduddin Khan from India, and then you have the great Javed Ghamidi from Pakistan. Do we have anything of the stature of such preachers, anyone who is a similar figure in Bangladesh, and what has his effect been in Bangladesh? Of, like, say, India has a Wahiduddin Khan, Pakistan has a Ghamidi. Has Bangladesh had anyone who has spoken against triple talaq, halala, polygamy, and spoken about how it's not got anything to do with Quran?
I'm coming to Bangladesh, but before that, I want to remind you of another person of India, Dr. Asghar Ali Engineer. Do you remember? Do you know him?
Yes. He was a reformist who was not accepted by the critical mass.
वो तो होगा, तो बहुत प्यार दिया था मुझे, बहुत सपोर्ट दिया था, मुझे इनवाइट भी किया था in a conference in Mumbai. Well, I had the opportunity to speak in quite lots of international conferences in Europe, in America, Canada. Asghar Ali Engineer Bhai was a great person. Actually, in my book, I have quoted Wahiduddin Sahab ko, Asghar Ali Engineer Sahab ko, Dr. Hamidi ko saath nahi the, but I'm very, I know his work. About halala, 30-40 years ago, there were lots of cases of halala reported in the newspaper. Only from say 15 years or 20 years, our ulamas started saying against it. So today in Bangladesh, halala is almost gone. Here I will draw your attention to an equation. The equation ऐसा है कि we have a state law against instant divorce. We have a state law against forceful marriage. But still, इतना हलाला क्यों हुआ? You know why? जब state law and faith law collide करता है, एक दूसरे के साथ संघर्ष होता है, most often faith law wins and state law steps back. क्योंकि लोग समझते हैं कि ये ही अल्लाह का कानून है, ये मानना पड़ेगा. Here comes the responsibility of our ulama. In Bangladesh, almost all our ulama now are very vocal against instant divorce. So it is gone from the society. In Egypt, in North Africa, a barbarity is going on in the name of Islam, which is called female genital mutilation. 7 Sharia hadiths and 3 Sharia laws support such barbarity. So people think it is Islamic. Egypt passed a law against it. Eritrea passed a law against it. But still, people are observing because, as I said, when faith law and state law fights with each other, most often state law is defeated, faith law is the winner. That's why the responsibility of our ulama is so great to educate our people over this.
राइट. हसन जी, अभी तक हम बात कर रहे थे कि जो शरिया है वो विद इन मुस्लिम सोसाइटी किस तरह के प्रॉब्लम को लेकर आता है, और स्पेशली उसकी जो विक्टिम है वो कहीं ना कहीं औरतें सबसे ज्यादा बनती हैं. पर मेरा जो अभी नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है, मैं वो पूछना चाहती हूँ को एग्जिस्टेंस के ऊपर. मुस्लिम समाज एक और बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम से गुजर रहा है जिसमें को एग्जिस्टेंस के सवाल बार बार खड़े होते हैं. वर्ड लाइक काफिर, और सिर्फ वर्ड काफिर ना होना, उसके साथ सर्टेन एट्रीब्यूट भी अटैच करना. कुछ लोग तो ये भी मानते हैं कि अगर कोई काफिर है तो वो अच्छा इंसान नहीं है. इस तरह की टीचिंग्स भी दी जाती हैं. तो इसे हम कैसे टैकल करेंगे और आपका इसके बारे में क्या नजरिया है?
This is another issue, और इसको elaborate करने में बहुत time लगेगा. I will ask you to read only one chapter of my book, Killing Apostates. Killing apostates, why it is against Islam. और ये जो दूसरों को काफिर करार देना, ये इसको नाम है तकफीर. इट इज अ वेरी बैड हैबिट ऑफ मुस्लिम वर्ल्ड. मौलाना मौदूदी अगर एक लफ्ज सही कहा तो ये है कि ही सेड दैट दिस हैबिट कि दूसरों का काफिर करार देना, बोलना, तहमत देना, दिस वन डिड the most damage to Muslim world. So much so that nothing else damaged Muslims as much as this khaslat did. See, this is the brochure of Sharia court in Canada. We they conducted a movement against this. This ran for 14 years, and we made a movement against it. At that time, मैं Muslim Canadian Congress का director of Sharia law हुआ करता रहा था. We and the Canadian Council of Muslim Women, another organization was led by Iranian, mostly the International Campaign Against Canadian Sharia Code. इसमें कितना झूठ है, ब्लैकमेलिंग है, और कुरान का डिस्टॉर्शन है, हमारा हेरिटेज का डिस्टॉर्शन है. Everything I explained in the event with Dr. Faizi. एक आलिम लोग अगर झूठ कहे तो हम जाएंगे कहाँ? तकफीर is anti-Islamic to the core. Surah Nisa 94 कहता है कि if someone says you salam in an Islamic way, don't say he is a non-Muslim. It's a command, it's not an advice. देखें, मुर्तद जो है, this issue is mentioned in about 7-8 verses of the Quran. Murtad issue is dealt with, but nowhere there is a single reference of any punishment. Point number 2, let's go to our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Lots of hadiths are there. He said that whoever changes religion, kill him. This has a problem. It doesn't mention Islam. So whoever changes religion means whoever becomes a Muslim living his religion, then kill him too. But these are bad arguments. I'm not going there. I'm stressing in only one fact. The Prophet ran an administration. He had to avoid people. He had to punish people. In Sahih Sitta, Bukhari, Muslim, Abu Dawud, Tirmizi, Nasai, and Ibn Majah. Show me one incidence where the Prophet punished someone only for the crime of leaving Islam. He punished people who left Islam, but they did other crimes. Only for leaving Islam, he never punished anyone. Rather, if you open Sahih Bukhari, volume 9, hadith 318, a Muslim came to him, in front of him, said that you return my bayat. Bayat means accepting Islam. He accepted Islam before. He said, return my bayat. Prophet kept quiet. He again said, return my bayat. Prophet kept quiet. For the third time, he said, return my bayat. Prophet kept quiet, didn't say anything. That man left Medina and safe and sound. In Prophet's time, we get other people. Saad bin Surah. He never punished anyone only for the crime of leaving Islam. Against killing apostate is in Surah Nisa, verse 137. ये आयत ये कहता है कि अगर कोई इस्लाम कबूल करे फिर इस्लाम को छोड़ दे ताकि मुर्ताद हो जाए, फिर वापस आके इस्लाम कबूल करे फिर इस्लाम छोड़ दे, उसका ... That means the Quran एक मुर्ताद को वापस आने का दरवाजा खोला रखा. ये जो साइकिल है, he is allowed to come back. So if we kill an apostate, then we are insulting this verse, Surah Nisa, verse 137. Yes, this equation hai. Why we are violating this Quranic verse in the name of Prophet's hadiths? As I showed you, Prophet never punished, forget about death sentence, never punished anyone for only the crime of apostasy. So this is a very sad condition, and this is blackmailing. This blackmailing will not work. So many people are leaving Islam actually for this type of behavior of our ulama. Then again, our ulamas, we expect better leadership. Over to you.
So, Hasanji, finally, what would be your solution for the future generation? And I want to add another question in that. How historic do you see the actions of Crown Prince, Salman, Mohammed bin Salman, in regards to Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the modern reforms, and the way he, there is this moderate interpretation and modernization now that he's doing at the, the birthplace of Islam? How important do you see that? And as a reformist, how happy does that make you? So that question, like how the role Mohammed bin Salman is playing, along with the fact that what can the future generations of Muslims do to ensure that, they can get rid of these black laws?
देखें, मैं कोई traditional alim तो नहीं. I don't have answer of all the questions. Rather, I can only question. All my study all these years, I qualify, I think, to question. But the real answer must come from our religious institutions, institutional ulamas. But then again, point is, yes, the word Islamic reform is very problematic. Islam is a faith system. Islam ko kya reform karna? We cannot even define Islam. If you open Munir Commission report in 1953-54, that was the first time Muslims tried to define Islam. Islam hai kya cheez? Fail ho gaya. All the alims could not agree with 100% common definition of Islam. So actually Islam का definition Prophet ने दिया. ये सही बुखारी में है. ये मेरा किताब में मैंने दिया कि हज़रत जिब्राइल आके उनको पूछा, या Muhammad, what is Islam? Point blank question actually. Clear question. He said, obey Allah only, obey me as a Rasul, establish Salat, give Zakat. These are simple things, he answered. So his definition of Islam, if we take it today, then many of world Muslims' problems will be over. And then again about the reformation of Muslims is needed. Right. Reformation of Muslims thinking of Islam is needed. And actually, you know what? We are progressing. We are progressing. See, in many Muslim countries, triple talaq is banned. In India, it's banned now. Equal inheritance. In Turkey, there is equal inheritance of male and female. Before, there were no female judges. In last few decades, we saw female judges too. And women leadership. Benazir Bhutto of Pakistan, Hasina Khalid of Bangladesh, and there are Sukarno Putri in Indonesia. Women leadership is accepted. So we are progressing. In Middle East, now women are driving. Now they have their freedom. Definitely I support their modernization. At times, I think, is it too fast? But definitely, it's a good direction we are moving at.
Hasan ji, I'm actually tempted to ask you another question now. What do you think progressive Muslim countries who could be role models for other Muslim countries where they've demonstrated coexistence, tolerance, secularism, women rights have been gotten, and it's a pre-liberal society. So if I were to cite three examples, UAE, Turkey, and Tunisia. Now these are Muslim majority societies who should be role models for the other ones where there are wars and they're still fighting in the name of religion. What do you as a scholar think what is that they have done differently, the leadership of those three countries, which has made them at par with some of the best values in the world? So what do you think these particular countries, Tunisia, Turkey, and UAE, have done better than other Muslim majority countries?
Well, they are trying to come in terms with modernity, keeping the Islamic values intact. But it's very hard, and it mainly depends with local ulama. Because you know what, the darn fact is, the Muslim world is kind of little bit educationally backward. People are not that much enlightened about human rights like we have in the West. So the ulamas are controlling people's mind too much. And sad fact is, many ulamas are very Urdu mein kya kehta hai, command, proud, right?
Arrogant. Yeah.
Arrogant. Yes, arrogant. And they also drive their followers to arrogancy. But see, you know what? Indian mythology में है माँ कुरु धन जन जौवन गर्भं हरति इन्हीं में सत्कालं सर्वं. धन जन जौवन किसी का भी गर्भ मत करो, माँ कुरु. क्यों? हरति, हरण करता है, छीन लेगा, निमेष, एक पलक में, कालम, टाइम, सर्वं, एवरीथिंग. ये सूरह निसा में भी है, ayat 36. Don't be proud of anything. Allah doesn't like it. So again, it depends very much on the enlightenment of the ulama first, and then that light will be filtered into the people. But in general, the countries you mentioned, their ulamas are enlightened, so they are people. Our ulamas are not. That's why our ulamas are at clash with the government, with the secular laws. देखें, मैं तो कहता हूं कि if we just, मैं तो इस उम्र में आ गया कि मेरी जिंदगी पीछे है, सामने अंधेरा. Now I understand, I realize कि ये सब आता है wisdom से. Wisdom आता है incidents से. और wisdom कहता क्या है? अंगंगलितं पलितं मुंडम दंतविहीनं जातं तुंडम करधृतकंपितशोभितदंडम तदपि न मुंचत्ता शावनि. ये शंकराचार्य जो है साउथ इंडिया का मोहम्मद. Angangalitam, in old age your body is breaking. Palitam mundam, there is no hair in your head, there is no teeth in your mouth. Karadhrita kampita shobhita dandam, the stick you are holding is also shaking, but still your khaslat is commanding you. ये सूरह इमरान वर्स 185 कहता है कुल्लु नफ्सिन ज़ायक़ातुल मौत. अगर वो याद रहे तो our ulamas can be captivated. Over to you.
Amna, you want to ask the last question?
एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन मैं हसन जी जो मैं सोच रही थी अभी कि क्योंकि आप अगर देखें तो जो रेस्ट ऑफ वर्ल्ड है वो बहुत ज्यादा प्रोग्रेस कर चुका है. ह्यूमन राइट्स की काफी बातें होती हैं, सेक्युलरिज्म की, इस तरह के आइडियाज जो है वो एक कॉमन एवरेज जो ह्यूमन बीइंग है उसने भी अडॉप्ट कर लिया है कहीं ना कहीं. तो इस वक्त में क्यों इस तरह का आर्ग्यूमेंट होना चाहिए कि मुस्लिम शरिया को ही समझे या फॉलो करें? क्यों नहीं हम ही एक ह्यूमन राइट बेस्ड सेक्युलर लॉ से गवर्न हो सकते हैं, और इस्लाम हमारा एक पर्सनल फेथ हो सकता है, स्पिरिचुअल अपने गॉड से कनेक्ट होने का एक वे हो सकता है। आपका इस पे क्या विचार है?
Well, ये एक संघर्ष is going on, tension, fight within Muslim societies regarding Sharia with Islamic State and secular state. Our people back home, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, they even don't know that there are crore of Muslims who reject the concept of Islamic State based on Sharia law. There are alims, ulamas. See, the biggest Islamic organization of the world, created by alim ulama, is Nahdalatul Islam. ये आपका देवबंद जमाती इस्लामी बेरेलवी मुस्लिम ब्रदरहुड से कहीं ज्यादा big vast organization created by alimas. You know what book they published? Can you read the name for me?
The Illusion of an Islamic State.
उलामा का किताब है ये, नाहदालतुल उलमा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का किताब है ये। उर्दू में क्या होगा इसका नाम? The Illusion of Islamic State.
Amana can say
मिक्स स्टेट का भ्रम।
Yes, Islami राष्ट्र का भ्रम। Our ulama must read books like this and books like this, Dr. Umar Farooq, towards our reformation, from legalism to value-oriented Islamic law and jurisprudence. They should read these books, our ulamas, and then they will understand why they are wrong. Our people also must read the books. I will ask our leadership, intellectual leadership, ulama ko let them do their work. Our intellectual leadership, Muslim leadership in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, let them read these books and educate them why crores of Muslims are against Islamic State and Sharia. I have compiled their arguments in my book, and this is free in my website. So I hope you got your answer.
No, I think that this will help a lot of youngsters understanding the various complexities that they do deal with when they see the extremism within, which then spills out to, unfortunate non-Muslim communities there, and then within Muslims as well. So thanks a lot, Hasan Mahmoodji, for sharing your valuable time and guiding us, enlightening us about so many truths of the original scriptures. Thank you. It was an absolute pleasure to have you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very, very much. Actually, I had a plan maybe later to show you documents why halala is anti-Islamic. I have solid references. And then about khul law, when a Muslim woman asks for divorce, you know what? The Quran and the Prophet gave Muslim women absolute right to dissolve their marriage without depending on anyone. Even say the case of Barira. Prophet asked her, "Hey Barira, why don't you continue with Mugis, your husband?" She said, "No, I don't want." No. She said, "Yeah, Prophet, is it your hukum on me or shufarish?" See, Barira's case, Sahih Bukhari, volume 7, hadith 206. Well, okay, let me finish this one. Prophet said, "No, I'm not ordering you. I just wish. It's my wish that you continue with him." She said, "I'm sorry, I will not." Prophet said, "Okay." Can you imagine? Prophet gave women to dissolve their marriage against the wish of the Prophet himself. And the Quran says, Surah Nisa, verse 19, never keep women against their wish. This law, khula law of Sharia, is so brutally against women. Women are prisoners of this law, where the Quran, the Prophet set them free. Well, maybe later I can show you documents on these, on halala and on women leadership or whatever. Next, if you want, I'm here. I will come. And thank you very much again for bringing me.
Thank you.
बिल्कुल हसन जी, आप दोबारा भी आइएगा और हम इस पे आगे भी चर्चा करेंगे. I think it is very enlightening, and especially being a woman, I'm so happy that people like you discussing about the women right. क्योंकि जो अपने आंखों के सामने रोज देखना होता है और जो औरतों को सफर करते हुए देखते हैं, वहां लगता है कहीं ना कहीं औरतें मुस्लिम सोसाइटी में बहुत पीछे छूट रही हैं. और अगर अब भी हम ये बात नहीं करेंगे तो ये पूरी सोसाइटी भी पीछे रह जाएगी. जिस सोसाइटी की औरतें इक्वल नहीं होती हैं और जिस सोसाइटी की औरतें एम्पावर्ड नहीं होती, वो सोसाइटी भी गड्ढे में जाती है. उसका भी एक तरह से डिस्ट्रक्शन होना लिखा होता है. तो आई एम सो हैप्पी एज अ वुमन coming from the Muslim community, and thank you very much. शुक्रिया आने के लिए हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म.
Thank you.
All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. So we had a first non-Indian Bangladeshi scholar with us today, and we got his insights and his terrific book, how Sharia's Hijacked Islam and his terrific insights. And he also spoke about the late Padma Vibhushan Maulana Wahiduddin Khan, Javed Gandhi from Pakistan, and various misconceptions around the religion and how the extremism first affects the others and then within itself. But there are lots of positive, trees and seeds that we can see in the example of Turkey, Tunisia, UAE, and of course now the reform of the Muslim mind by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. So this is hoping for a better time, and of course things will get much better from here in the age of internet. All right, thank you so much, everyone. Please do keep supporting us, like, share, subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this episode. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.